Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. I am Cloud Hudson, as always, here, your meteorologist, and I am ready to get into tonight's episode. Thank you very much. Shout out to very special listener, David out there, who has very kindly gotten a ring light for me. If you would like to assist with the setup of this beautiful studio here, remember that I do have a wish list down in the bottom description box of my YouTube videos. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on with the magma sphere. Taking a look, Stromboli still going strong. The Vanuatu Islands, that's what all of the, eruptive activity has been about. Popo's still going off. Santiaguito, Fuego, Messiah. We've got a bunch of continued eruptions that we've been seeing for the past few days. Suwanosejima, Sakurajima, Mount Kamchatka, Reventador, Sawankaya. We've got a lot in Indonesia. Lewotolo is still active. Samiro is still active. And says that we have activity in the South Sandwich Islands. So that would make a lot of sense of why we have started to see some activity up there. And speaking of that earthquake activity, let's just go ahead and jump straight to the earthquakes right now, because I would like to get to that. Welcome, everybody. Do you like the new lighting setup? Hope that you're enjoying your night. Let's take this time range down from yesterday to today. Latest available magnitude, all magnitudes, depth range, all depths. Let's go ahead and turn plate boundaries on and apply. And let's look at the satellite map too, because that's pretty fun. All right, so we see that there are, let's check our Kyrgyzstan activity. Well, today, very recently, it basically skipped the 24th and has shown back up. These almost 5.0, the 4.9, 4.1, and 4.5, those are all today in the calendar day of the 25th. And this is just the update for the 24th. So interesting that the aftershocks seem to have slowed down for the no, it's just clicking on the wrong one. There we go. Continued aftershocks in the Kyrgyzstan, Xinjiang, China border region, and they're all at 10 kilometers depth. And remember that that is the depth that we have been seeing quakes spread throughout the planet since the new year. We had another one a little further down, right at the actual tip of the plate boundary. That's where I was thinking the momentum was coming from in this area. Still registering that one in Turkey as yesterday. We've got several going on in Japan around the H-shaped plate boundary in the volcano islands of Japan, which makes sense because they are actively erupting right now. And so is Kamchatka, so that makes sense that we are seeing motion all the way through here in that like middle range of depth. Now let's take a look what's going on over here at the Vanuatu Islands and Fiji. That looks like we are seeing some extremely deep quakes, and those would be, like a 4.5 and a 4.3. And this 6.3 was 37 kilometers down. That was yesterday. I think we already reported on it in Vanuatu, and that's due to probably associated with some of the eruptive activity that we're seeing there. Comedic Islands, New Zealand, Tonga. Is that technically Tonga? They're calling this what is this registering as? Yeah, that's Tonga, Kermadec Islands, and New Zealand, we're seeing 5.1s again at the same depth and intensity that we're seeing the aftershocks of Kyrgyzstan. So let's take it over to, oh, look at that. Remember how yesterday I was saying I expected something in the Baja Peninsula? Well, it's a little further down than I expected, but that is still a decent showing of momentum moving through the plate. 10 kilometers down, again, at a mid-range 4, several mid-range 4 earthquakes there in the Baja Peninsula. Also some down in Oaxaca, but I believe that we've got an erupting volcano around there. Puerto Rico still popping off, still really just like crackling, fizzing. And that momentum that's coming from both through the Yellowstone area and through California is making its way across the contiguous 48 states. Now, let's go ahead to check out, since we can't see on here, we don't see the Iceland reports. Let's go ahead and take a look at Iceland's own reports right now. They are experiencing some very inclement weather right now, under some orange alert and yellow alert. Wow, sounds bad. Orange and yellow, those are scary colors. All right, we're still seeing consistent hum of earthquakes all along the intercontinental divide. Let's take a look further out. We're not seeing any too far out. Let's take a look at the entire island. Oh yeah, and there we go. That is kind of the same jaggedy edge shape that we see with the plate boundary. So not slowing down, not getting a big dip, but we are again seeing some of those stacked earthquakes, one right after the other, kind of connected. So let's take it off of the ground and go into the atmosphere now. Let's go to the atmosphere. Let's check out, I want to go to the GFS mall today. I don't know why. Let's try this. 2 PVU pressure. Sometimes that can indicate the level of the tropopause. All right. And then we see some of this spinning up into action. And now we're in forecast zone. See some of this dipping down into the lower 48. But we still have that ridge wanting to form. You see all this? It still wants to spit a lot of more of heat into the country. So, yeah, let's move on to analysis, because these are just forecasts. And what is that really for? We're an analyzer show. we're real anal about things. We analyze things here. So let's go to pivotal weather and see our real-time analysis maps. Let's take a look at, I don't want to go to models. Why did I click on that? Let's see the National Weather Service hazards right now, because y'all, the headline of the weather, foggy. It's basically Silent Hill across the whole country. The whole country is Silent Hill. The whole country looks like it's just, you could cut it with a knife, fog, and extreme flooding risk throughout the deep south. This is like day 3, 4, 5 of extreme weather events, and you can see those flash flood warnings in some counties, and then also flood watches all over and flood warnings in the bright green. Excuse me. Okay. Sorry. Sometimes things just get on your mind and all you can talk about is the weather, but you can't talk about the other stuff, but it just really is unsettling, like the weather. Yeah, this fog, very sneaky weather, very like sneaky up on you weather. And I have heard from people who drove through this that there was a very, very thick fog in the Piedmont of the Carolinas, You had a wind advisory right there on the Tennessee border. That is interesting. But most of the area that saw a lot of winter weather and polar cold Arctic air for the past 2 weeks is now under a dense fog advisory. And that makes a lot of sense considering that they had really frozen ground with a lot of frozen precipitation on top of it. And then we got a warm ridge like heating it all up. It's like melting the ice cream cone. I don't even. What's a sublimation analogy that people? A fog machine? Yeah, somebody turned on a fog machine in the middle of the Texas Panhandle and just went. Fog machine went. Brr. I wonder what kind of flooding levels we're looking at up here in Buffalo, because that would indicate we're looking at melting snowpack, and they've had feet of snowfall. So let's take a look at observed precipitation. Past 24 hours, yeah, where we had the significant flash flood warnings. The past 3 days, let's add it all up. Yeah, see, they're getting a lot of precipitation up here where they just got all that lake effect snow. So that's going to add to, oh gosh, and this is only the 72-hour analysis. Let's look at a 168-hour analysis. Oh, buddy, that thing is inflamed. Look at that precipitation map. That looks infected. That just looks like the worst kind of scab. It's just a terrible scab, and no oxygen getting to that. No blood flow getting in there. It's a scar across the country. And it really is across the country because this is 2 very large population centers right there. So, and I can tell you, we're not even registering as having that much rain, and everything is soaked here in Western North Carolina. They're like, I'm shocked there's not more dense fog, but it is like everything is wet, and it's not even from a soaking rain. It's just that the air is moist and every surface is completely saturated, penetrated, absolutely devoured by water. Speaking of which, let's get out of the water looks. Let's look at null earth. Are y'all liking my new lighting setup? Okay, today we've got more of that ridge making its way over here across the United States. We've still got that storm brewing off the coast of the Northwest. Let's look at the upper elevations. Yeah, I mean, look how warm it is. I want you to pay attention to this area right here and watch as we go from 1,000 millibars to 850. It gets warmer. So again, that tells me that there's like an inversion layer and there's a lot of instability in the atmosphere ready to really take off. There's a nice big high out here in the Sargasso Sea. It's a sea. It's an area of the Atlantic named after the type of seaweed that there is there. I always find that fun. Because it's just like it is its own eddy in a way. It's got its own ocean oscillation. In fact, let's take a look at the waves. Yeah, you can see it oscillating here. Look at the currents. Yeah, these want to go around and over here. The winds are swirling them back into that pipeline up the East Coast, out of North Carolina's armpit and into the North Atlantic cold pool. We're not going to talk about the North Atlantic cold pool. we're not going to talk about it. If we don't talk about it, then there's not a big sinking sphere of cold water that won't overturn in the Atlantic. If I don't talk about it, it's not true. Okay, sorry, y'all. A little bit of oceanographer, climatologist, doomsday humor. Let's take a look at. I'm going to look at the relative humidity at 700 level. Because god dang, that is moist. Moist. Oh, look at this one. The nasty out here. I believe that this is the storm that people are calling for to be another snowstorm coming up. I think as soon as we've got this fog and heat out of the way, we're gonna have a snowstorm. So wild. Who could have guessed it? It's not like we took a look the other day at a book that said that Aquarius season starts wet, gets snowy, ends windy and cold. No, we did look at a book that said that. Okay. Let's go ahead. Enough sarcasm out of me. If y'all don't like the orthographic projection, I kind of don't either. I like stereographic projections. Look, we're inside the earth now. What if the earth was a Taurus? What if the get it? I'm a Taurus like a bull, and it's also an earth sign, but also a Taurus, a Taurus, because we could look at it from the inside like that. That's at the 700 level. Let's look at some surface humidities. Yeah, wow. All of North and South America just wet. Just like so much moisture. I don't even know where's all this moisture coming from. I didn't even know we had that much water on the planet to be in the air at once. Everywhere is just thoroughly soaked to the bone, I would say. That is some really wicked relative humidity. If it was the summer, buddy, it'd be hot as heck. But fortunately, it's the winter, and at least in the northern hemisphere, and we're still looking at a pretty good that's like a nice cozy blanket. I don't know. This storm looks gnarly. I'm looking forward to seeing what that does, but I hope that it doesn't knock people out of power like these last ones did. I don't think that we will be. I mean, this warm up does help. The warm up does help a little bit with getting the ground temperatures and surface temperatures and like inanimate objects to be warmed up and not get iced on as much. But even up at the jet stream level has some high humidities, like, yeah. And then we get into the stratosphere. Finally, no moisture getting mixed in there. But this high out here is definitely still holding strong through the upper layers of the stratosphere into the ionosphere. And then we can see some of our global circulations coming back into better view when we get to the 10 hectopascal level. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? You love me talking about this stuff. Let's take a look at 3-hour precipitation. Back 8 hours. Yeah, that line is just standing still on the same thing. One big swath of dumped rain all over this place. Let's look at the pressure. Yeah. Let's see how hard this is. Ooh. That's a nasty one. That's looking mean out here in the Pacific. That's what's currently happening. Oh, we also had weather going on in Iceland. Let's see what theirs looks like. Oh yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it for Iceland. That'll do it for their severe weather. Look at this. They've got all that southerly flow, that meridional flow, just whipping around this corner. Let me close this. Whipping around this corner out of the high into this big low pressure system between Iceland and Greenland. Totally makes sense why the entire island has some severe weather watches going on. But not too much else to speak of. That's about where I'm gonna leave it for the weather. Let's take it now to our Aurora. Aurora. That's the gradient between the weather and the solar wind. All right, so we should be able to see some in that area, but probably going to get sucked into this low, probably only visible in Ontario, Quebec. Yeah, let's see. Newfoundland, maybe Manitoba, a little bit. In the Hudson Bay. I'm not named after the Hudson Bay, but I am Hudson Cloud. I am a cloud Hudson. Let's go take a look at our sun. Let's take a look at our sun. Hope you guys are, thank you all for being here, by the way. I see 4 of you. Thank you all for being here. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Reminder, we want to thank David tonight for bestowing the ring light upon the studio. Doesn't it look better? Doesn't the white balance look a lot better? I mean, this white is very unbalanced, but the white balance on the camera value, the ISO, is great. But if y'all want to help out, if y'all want to help the studio, down in the description box of my YouTube video, I do have a thing called Things to Get Me, a little linky poo that is for equipment. Let's see if these loaded, because remember we didn't get to see these halos yesterday. They weren't quite loaded yet. Whoa, that was the one from yesterday. Okay, that was the first one from yesterday. That went really northward. Let's take a look at the second potential partial halo. Well, not as spectacular as the class 4 that we saw the other day, but I'll take it. Still had yet another, a third. That one had a little bit more of that sacred geometry flower petal to the southeastern quadrant there. Yeah, that's pretty. I see the, and I see I feel like I'm seeing the whole annular ring there, that halo. Yeah, I mean, this is a difference image. So when it flashes back and forth around the center, that means that all of it changed from the previous thing. So that was definitely I would say the entire sun got on board with that one. And then that was only yesterday. And since then, we have gone from 51 to 61. We've had 10 coronal mass ejections today. The longest one was 8 seconds. Let's see if we have, well, it only gives us a 2-second clip of it, but that's still really powerful. I want to bet, how much you want to bet that that is also from that 3559 that we've been keeping our eye on. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and take a look at what our sunspot map looks like right now. Let's also see, yeah, it's this 3561 is the one that we've seen a lot from. I think if I look, I was gonna, I forget where I went yesterday where it said what each CME was, which sunspot group the CMEs were responsible for. I mean, proton flux is back down to normal. Our flare probably, I mean, actually kind of gone down. Shockingly, we had an M flare in the past 24 hours and it's gone down. This has calmed down quite a bit since our last 2 days that we've seen a lot of activity. I almost hesitate to wonder what's going on there, having only 2 M-class flares after like 7 yesterday. Wonder why we're dipping back down to the base levels of C-class territory. Remember how, can I zoom out any more than that? No, I can't. It won't let me. No, that's not what I want to do. Remember how right before we got this big uptick in activity, we saw the X-ray flux go down below sea level, C-class into B territory? Might be getting into that little pre-event lull there. let's take a look at, is this one going to tell us which ones did what? Take a look at, oh, it will. 3559 is that one in the top quadrant that's kind of rotating into Earth view now. Let's take a look. This is a fun feature where you can like go back and forth between the magnetogram and the, okay, well, if my computer loads, you can. Yeah, look at that. That's the magnetic poles. That's just what the sunspot looks like. So they're classing that as a beta gamma, which I'm still learning about, so I'm not going to try to explain it to you. But this also is one of those, which is like, I believe that's the one where they're out of alignment of which polarity should be leading the other one. Like the, you're supposed to have negative, positive, or positive, negative, and they're in the inverse side, so they're like extra unstable. Let's take a look at the SDO, the Solar Dynamics Observatory. I'm just going to go to the composite because we already know what we're about here on this channel. We like to see the pretty colors go. We like to see the pretty rainbow colors get all mashed up together. Okay. I like to see the colors get mashed up together because it helps me get a better picture of the whole thing. There's another, they're just like lens flaring out here. I mean, they're really flared, like solar flares, but I'm, all right, it's still acting up. This 3559 and 3561 just not slowing down at all. They're peeking out and they're like flaring in different colors, so they're different levels of radiation getting released. Really cool lens flare, honestly. Not even gonna pretend that I'm not nerding out over that. And we do also have those coronal holes rotating into view, and so these will cause areas of fast solar wind to push anything in front of it faster towards Earth. Let's go ahead and take a look at the models for see what we've got modeled coming Earth's way. I haven't. All right. Well, I guess we already got the one that was scheduled to hit the other day, and they're not showing me the old, yeah, what we already got. Okay. Let's go now to what's beyond the sun, the planets. The planets. Let's look at the planets. Alrighty. We're currently in a Mercury day, a Venus hour. Maybe that's why I'm feeling very aesthetic, but not really ready to talk a whole lot. We've got the sun applying to be a semi-sextile Saturn, which is in a 1 or a 12, the 12th harmonic. We've got the moon almost done in Cancer, making its way to oppose Pluto and the sun in Aquarius for our first full moon in Leo, which is opposite the Pluto in Aquarius. We've got Jupiter in Taurus still moving direct through there at 6 degrees, still kind of near its station, so moving pretty slow. Venus is moving well into Capricorn now. She's girl bossing, get shit done. Very Barbie when she comes out of the underworld, you know, like I mean the underworld. Do you know what I'm talking about? When you like, have y'all heard that thing about how the Barbie movie is the story of Venus's descent into the underworld? No? Okay, I'll link you to some great video essays about it. But really, Venus's whole story and the Venus retrograde cycle is really highly linked to whatever Greta Gerwig did with that. And she says she didn't mean to do the astrology, but it was released during Venus retrograde in Leo, which is also when Barbie was released, the doll. So astrology is just very coincidental. If it's not on purpose, it's extremely coincidental and funny to look at. But I still looking at I don't know why the nodes being semi-sextile to Uranus is jumping out at me right now, but something. Oh, we've also got Chiron squaring Mars right now. Very happy Mars in Capricorn, about to be able to tell us what he's up to because Mercury's coming through there, about to get lapped by Mercury. So we'll find out what that story was all about soon. And squaring that Chiron in Aries, the wounded healer in your ego planet place. I got it's don't be offended, just take the feedback. That's what that's given me. Okay, let's close this out with a little card pull, and I do mean a little card pull because I'm not gonna do a whole lot here. Sorry, sometimes my energy just needs to be cleared out. Clean out that energy. What is the residual gunk in my aura tonight? So weird. All right. Can anybody who's watching this see auras? Can you see what color mine is? Is it big? Is it small? I'm getting there, but I can't see them yet. All right. I've never shuffled this deck. I've cut it. Well, I've shuffled it a little bit, but I haven't shuffled it extensively. Let's give it a good shuffle. I don't know why I'm doing the reversal shuffle with it because I don't read reversals with this. It's weird. I hope y'all will pardon my weird hair tonight. I've got after work hair. Worked a long day today. Long day at the Pretty Lights factory. All right. Okay. This is a call out post. Physical well-being is only one good thought away. Wish away the virus. Physical well-being is only one good thought away. You could have every disease known to man within you today, and we do, in very small amounts. They're dormant. And if you choose different feeling thoughts tomorrow, they would all leave your body. The key is not to give any unwanted thing much attention. When it doesn't feel good, turn your attention someplace else. That's hard to do. That's very hard to do in today's world. It's not that easy, card. Sometimes your physical well-being affects your thoughts, and you don't believe that it's possible to feel better. But if you could choose different feeling thoughts, they would go away. It's the idea. That's what people who believe in spirit healing believe. Not saying that's a material reality for everyone right now. It could be, but it's probably not going to be a material reality for you right now unless you're like really good at clearing your trauma. You're gonna create what you want if you haven't, and it's gonna suck if you're not clearing your trauma. I guess that's it. That's all I've got for y'all today. I'm pretty low energy right now. Had a long day. Did a lot of thinking and emoting. And I mean, I did the physical labor too, but that's not as exhausting as the thinking and feeling is sometimes. Yeah. I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for coming to my show today. I hope I see you back tomorrow for the full moon. It'll be our first full moon together, so I'm excited about that. So come back tomorrow for the full moon. Again, thank you so much for my new ring light, and I love you guys very much. Have a lovely evening. Goodbye.